Hey guys, Landon Gilfillan here with Pepper and Pine Garden Design. I realized a couple of things the other night after my last video. Number one, I have a bunch of new subscribers and viewers and I haven't taken the time to really introduce who I am and my goals with this channel. I originally started these videos on a private Facebook group called the Gardening Forum that I started in 2022 per a prompt of a couple of friends that were wanting more gardening advice. And they said, hey, why don't you start a group or a channel or something along those lines and help us do some more gardening or teach us some more about gardening? And I thought, hey, sure. And the next day I started the Facebook group and immediately started posting videos, and that has continued until today, where now I'm moving most of those videos onto YouTube, obviously to reach a wider audience, to make it more accessible, because our Gardening Forum group, which still exists on Facebook, is a private group, so not everyone can view what's going on in that forum. But I've loved this. I love teaching, I love gardening, and I love helping people discover their green thumbs. I have several friends that say they're a self-proclaimed black thumb, and I don't believe that. I believe everyone can have a green thumb. It just might take a little bit of cultivation, a little bit of cultivating, a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of experience, and obviously guidance. But a lot of times it really is just getting out in the dirt and the soil and gardening and making mistakes and learning from those mistakes, asking people around you, especially in your area. So again, I love helping people learn how to garden, and that's how all this began. This will make my 14th year of vegetable and herb gardening. I've gardened my whole life back to my childhood, but that was mostly flower gardening, annuals, things like that. And I really jumped into vegetables and herbs the first year I was married in Memphis, Tennessee, and I just fell in love with it. And that all of this has grown from that place of just starting seeds in my kitchen windows, in our little duplex in Memphis, Tennessee, and now here we are on 7 acres in Southwest Michigan, which is like a dream come true for us. So make this your classroom. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, make it your classroom. Learn from it, grow from it, gain in experience, gain in knowledge. And I really have embraced that. I feel like, especially in the last 4 or 5 years. And now I have this awesome property and these nice big gardens that I get to grow more in. And when I say grow, I mean grow fruits and vegetables. Yes, grow lots of those, but also grow as a gardener and a person. If you are finding the information that you enjoy on this channel, obviously help me out and subscribe. That'd be awesome. Grow this audience, share my videos if you think they're helpful. And yeah, the last video I did was on weed control in a no-dig garden or lasagna garden. And I'm kind of continuing on with that theme today because I just want to show you exactly what I'm doing in this one space right here that's really giving me a lot of issues. It's way better than it was last year. Way, way, way better than when we moved here. But again, with this only being the second year in this garden, I can see that there's still some areas that are right now in the middle of spring cropping up, literally. And I'm going to have to change my direction a little bit. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is the problem, or was the problem area last year. I'm not sure why this area was so much worse than the other than I was able to really suppress the weeds over there much better with cardboard and other things that we laid down underneath any wood chips or compost that we put in the ground. Here I just came out, we tilled the ground, and I planted onions and garlic, and the weeds just took them over. I mean, it was really a miracle I got as many onions as I did. My garlics did not make it. So right now what I'm seeing is a lot of grass trying to come back, some burdock, and obviously the Queen Anne's lace that was really prevalent. So I have areas that are looking much better, and the wood chips have really helped to suppress the weeds. I just have a few grasses coming up. So in those areas, I'm just going to pull up the weeds. I might add a few more layers of wood chips as the plants here grow, because these are potatoes and cabbages, so I don't want to put too much on top until I start seeing their leaves. As their leaves start to grow, then I can add more wood chips as necessary. Here, I don't have anything planted. I had cauliflower, and that cauliflower that died in the freeze, well, it's no longer here. So it actually worked out well that I don't have anything planted here, because I have this area right here all the way to right there is really thick in grass. So I am going to rake all of this back, all the stuff that I've laid on top. And then I'm gonna lay down all this cardboard that I just picked up from the dollar store. Dollar store is a great place to get cardboard because they keep their pallets out back where you can just come and take as you need. And then I'm gonna run the sprinkler and get it nice and wet. And then once it's nice and wet and soggy, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna rake all the straw and wood chips and compost and everything that was here on the ground. I'm gonna rake it back onto the cardboard. I'm gonna add more wood chips, more compost, and then hopefully here in the next month or as needed, I'm gonna plant directly onto that plot. This is very similar to the lasagna garden video that I've posted and the cultivating good soil video that I've posted. I'm always talking about lasagna gardening, building from the soil up, no dig. That's the kind of gardening methods that I use that I have found most helpful, and honestly that I find to be the easiest to get a really good harvest, really healthy plants, really healthy soil, and weed control. I know it's working. It's just these are really stubborn weeds whose parent roots are way down, intertwined in the ground, and I've just got to continue to work to suppress them, and eventually they will die. So I want to be able to plant in this sooner than later. So I wanted to get some of that under control. But mostly I'm just raking this back and I'm gonna lay the cardboard down and go from there. While the cardboard is getting soaked, I thought I would show you something cool that I discovered after I thought I had lost all my plants. Some that actually survived that I really didn't even think were in the garden. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you haven't watched the video, I lost what I thought was like half, if not more, of my cool season garden to a freeze. And you can see that more about that here. I won't go into the details of it, but I lost a lot of plants. The only ones that I've really pulled through are my early Jersey Wakefield cabbage, which I'm staring at right here and all along over there. And well, my chamomile survived. Most of my dill survived, and I thought I had lost my Dara. Dara is in the dill family. It's very closely related to dill, but it's more of a cultivated Queen Anne's lace. If you know what Queen Anne's lace is, it can be considered a weed. In fact, we have it in sort of weed form in the garden. But I wanted to grow a certain variety called Dara, D-A-R-A, because it has this really pretty purpley mauve color to it. It's really beautiful. To make a long story short, I used the last of my Dara seeds, grew them inside. They were big and beautiful, and I planted them out and then lost them in the freeze. Well, over the last week, I have come out here and they have survived. So thankfully their roots weren't affected, just the leaves. And so crazy as it is, I have the Dara coming up right here. And I'm so thankful because like I said, that was the last of my seeds. So I have 4 plants right here, the 4 that I planted actually coming back up. So I'm really excited about that. I have it growing right here with my cabbage and my chamomile. So that was such a welcome thing to see. And then a lot of my mustards, a lot more than I thought, a lot more of my mustards survived. And maybe that's, you know, as Charles Dowding says, that the young starts survive better than the more established plants. Not a mature plant that's been through the season, but like a larger start basically. So maybe he's right. This will be another year to see. But this viewer was moved by my story and actually purchased replacement plants for my garden. And so I have a thing, I'm looking at it right now, a pallet of red acre cabbage, because I lost pretty much all my red acre cabbage. I got some cauliflower to replace a lot of the cauliflower I lost. And instead of replacing the broccoli, which really I decided after the fact, I had already started it indoors. It really does a lot better. Started in June or later, not as early as I was trying to plant it. So instead of broccoli, I bought Brussels sprouts because those did really well last year in the garden. And I started them around this time, if not a little bit earlier. So that was really sweet. Thank you to the anonymous viewer. We're excited to get some of these plants in the ground. So I'm gonna do that while the cardboard is soaking. Okay. So there it is. I got way more done than I thought I would. I got this whole area covered with the cardboard and a good amount of wood chips. I may even lay down a few more, but I'm pleased. I got all that covered. I filled in some gaps in here that needed some filling. I planted all these purple cabbages. It's a lot of purple cabbages. I'm just gonna utilize it and sell it or store it. So I got all that filled in. I got all these filled in. This is where I had the broccoli and 2 plants made it. So I just decided to go ahead and fill in this bed with wood chips. All my garlic is coming in and my onions are coming in. So I lightly covered them. And then over here where I planted mustards, chard, and kale, what I did was I interplanted, what did I do? 20 Brussels sprout plants right down the center. Because by the time that they're really going, the mustard and the spinach and the arugula that are planted there are going to be done. And I may just interplant some herbs in there. And then down that way, I've got carrots and radishes and lettuce and the chard that has pulled through. The chard that I thought died has actually made it. It's looking good. I've got some in there you can't see, but they're coming up. And one kale made it, which is strange because kale actually really likes cold weather. So I'm gonna come back out here and replant the rest of my kale inside and the rest of my Swiss chard and continue to cover this as these plants come in. So again, progress, yay! I really like this system. I really like the lasagna gardening, no dig, layering with mulch and compost system. It's easy, it's accessible. You can find that stuff free on Facebook Marketplace, local farmers. I'm actually picking up some composted cow manure tomorrow, and I'm going to be picking it up on a regular basis to add to my compost and add to the gardens. Just a local dairy farmer down the road. Cardboard was free at Dollar General, so all of this cost me nothing. It was a free wood chip drop, free cardboard, free manure. The only thing I paid for were the seeds, and a lot of those were seeds I had saved. So really nothing in this garden I paid for this year. So that's to be encouraging. Look around, you can find these things. It's really, really a great way to garden. Makes your garden healthy, it's easy, you can find the resources readily available. And yeah, so this looks great. I'm super excited to see this garden come together. We have just a couple more areas to fill in, and then our attention turns to the West Garden as we prepare it for the warm, loving plants. So thanks for watching. Thanks for all the new subscribers and new viewers. I would really appreciate if you would subscribe below and share these videos. Obviously, it helps get the word out, helps spread this knowledge that I'm trying to share, and helping grow gardeners and their gardens. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.